Welcome to Super Showdowns, the ultimate destination for epic battles and legendary showdowns. Join us as we put iconic superheroes, villains, and mythological figures against each other in thrilling matches of strength, strategy, and skill. Across the hushed corridors of the Omniverse, there are moments when existence itself seems to shiver, moments when reality senses something approaching that it was never meant to contain. This was one such moment. It began with a flicker in the void between worlds, a trembling frequency no mortal or god could perceive. The vibrations tore through timelines like silent lightning, whispering chaos across creation. From forgotten galaxies to the walls of the source itself, something ancient stirred, something born from madness and genius combined. The darkest night. He was the echo of Bruce Wayne, twisted by the Joker's cruelty, merged with the god mind of Dr. Manhattan. A being who had looked upon time, space, and the concept of death, and found them amusing. He ruled the dark multiverse, where the fears of every hero became living, screaming worlds. Yet now, even that endless domain no longer satisfied him. The darkest night had devoured the power of Perpetua, absorbed her crisis energy, and gazed beyond the map of creation. What he saw were infinite universes shimmering like jewels, the Marvel Continuum, an alien realm pulsing with molecular perfection. His grin widened beneath the jagged iron of his helm. Another sandbox, another set of gods. Let's see what happens when I snuff out their light. As he rose from the dark multiverse, every step rippled through reality. Planets turned to dust. Dimensions screamed. Death itself bowed in reverence. His laughter rolled like thunder across the firmament, echoing through the corridors of all things. In the Marvel Omniverse, Owen Reece, the Molecule Man, felt the tremor before anyone else. In the silent chamber of his mind, he sensed a presence unlike anything he had encountered. Even the Beyonders, whose power he once mirrored, never carried such malignant joy. He looked around the molecular expanse he called home, a plane where he existed as both man and god. Each atom bent to his thought, each photon whispered his name. Yet now, something foreign was unraveling those laws. His molecules began to shudder. Something's rewriting the fabric from outside, Owen muttered. His voice echoed across infinity, reality twisted. The molecular fields around him rippled like disturbed water, and from within the distortion emerged a figure cloaked in laughing shadow. The darkest night stepped into the Marvel Continuum, his aura bleeding black lightning that devoured light itself. The void behind him cracked, releasing echoes of screaming dead universes. Owen raised his hand instinctively. A billion molecules realigned to form a barrier of raw cosmic energy, but the figure's laughter sliced through it. You must be the one who keeps this sandbox tidy. The darkest night said, "Tell me what happens when I break all your toys at once." "You don't belong here," Owen replied, his tone steady, but his mind already calculating. "You're an anomaly, a virus from another multiverse." "A virus?" The darkest night's laughter grew darker. "I am evolution. I am what happens when light gets bored." He raised his hand, and the space around Owen inverted. Stars turned inside out. Molecular structures collapsed into nothingness. Yet Owen stood firm, eyes glowing with molecular awareness. "You can't erase me," he said. "I am every molecule, every atom, every quark of existence. You'd have to destroy the concept of reality itself." The darkest night tilted his head. "Then I'll start there." A cascade of antimatter darkness erupted from his body, spreading through the cosmos like a black tide. Galaxies withered into ash. Souls screamed as they were rewritten into mockeries of their former selves. Twisted dark reflections birthed from the darkest night's imagination.
Hey you! Don't just watch. Subscribe please.
Owen reached into the storm, his mind expanding beyond physical limits. He summoned molecular energy from every universe, every dimension. The void behind him flared with white light as existence itself answered his call. "This isn't your playground," Owen said. "This is my canvas." The two forces collided. Darkness met molecular perfection, and the result was chaos. The clash of their essences tore holes through the membranes of countless realities. Beings from other universes, celestials, watchers, and living tribunals, turned their gaze toward the confrontation, sensing a disturbance that could erase all things. As they fought, time fractured. Past, present, and future overlapped like shattered mirrors. One moment, Owen saw himself as a terrified man in a lab coat. The next as a cosmic god surrounded by galaxies of light. The darkest night's voice echoed through every version of him. You think because you can rebuild things, you understand power. Power isn't order, Owen. It's chaos. It's laughter in the dark. Owen countered, his voice shaking the molecular lattice of creation. Power is control. Without it, even gods are dust. He extended his hands, and the molecular structure of the darkest night's armor began to distort. For the first time, the laughing god felt resistance. His molecular cohesion faltered for a fraction of a second before he stabilized it through sheer will. A grin crept across his cracked faceplate. Interesting. You actually think you can unmake me? I don't think, Owen said. I know. The laughter stopped. In that silence, the Omniverse itself held its breath. The two beings stood in perfect opposition. Creation versus corruption. Order versus madness. Then the darkness expanded again, swallowing light and sound alike. Within it, Owen could hear whispers, infinite versions of Bruce Wayne, all laughing, all screaming, all feeding the storm. The darkest night drew upon infinite shadows from infinite worlds. Owen responded by merging with every iteration of himself across the Omniverse. The fractured consciousness of countless molecule men became one. Power surged through his veins until his body glowed with white fire. And thus, at the edge of all realities, two omniversal forces stared into each other's cores. One laughed because he had nothing left to fear. The other stood silent because he had become everything that could be feared. As the darkest night extended his hand, and Owen Reece prepared to rewrite reality itself, the multiverse trembled. The final war between molecular creation and infinite darkness was about to begin. The fabric of existence screamed. Every star, atom and law trembled as molecule man, and the darkest night collided at the highest level of reality. This was not a clash of fists or energy. It was a collision of principles, creation versus corruption, order versus infinite chaos. The void shattered into colors no mortal eye could ever comprehend. Waves of inverted time bled across space, aging galaxies backward into gas clouds. Molecule man stood amidst the unraveling, his form radiating infinite molecular configurations. Each molecule in his being sang in harmony with the Omniverse itself. Across from him, the darkest night towered as a black star, his laughter now a chorus of endless Batmen, Jokers and gods he had devoured. His eyes burned like dying suns. You're trying to hold it all together, Owen, but you can't hold what was never meant to exist. With a flick of his wrist, the darkest night unleashed tendrils of dark matter laced with anti-life. They tore through dimensions like blades, turning entire realms into dust. Dead heroes, dark versions of Superman, Thor and countless others poured from the shadows, all chanting the laughter of their master. Molecule man raised his hand, and time froze. The molecular codes of the army disassembled in an instant, collapsing back into pure energy. But the darkest night absorbed that energy, growing stronger. Everything feeds me, molecule man, even what you destroy. Owen frowned. Then I'll stop giving you anything to feed on. He spread his arms, and every molecule across the Marvel Continuum began to resonate. The very building blocks of creation obeyed his command. He converted matter into pure willpower, a luminous sea of molecular light that wrapped around the darkness. The multiverse glowed as Owen unleashed the omni-molecular field, an energy so vast it bypassed dimensional boundaries. The darkest night countered by reshaping himself into a cosmic black hole. His voice became thunder. You can't rewrite me. I'm an idea, a god born of fear and death. Then I'll rewrite the idea itself. Owen replied calmly. He extended his consciousness, diving directly into the darkest night's essence. Their minds collided, Owen's vast ordered molecular lattice against the chaotic web of the dark multiverse. The collision ignited an explosion that tore through the entire Omniverse, shaking both Marvel and DC realities. For a moment, both beings saw into each other's truths. Owen saw the endless pain of Bruce Wayne, the boy who had lost everything and became the monster he once hunted. The darkest night saw Owen Reece, the insecure man who feared his own power, yet bore the weight of creation. You're me, the darkest night whispered through the flames of reality. A man who broke the rules and became what gods feared. Maybe, Owen replied, but I learned to fix what I broke. Then the storm erupted again. Darkness surged, swallowing Owen whole. The darkest night unleashed the full anti-creation, an energy that reversed existence, erasing the molecular constants themselves. Molecule man began to dissolve, his own body breaking apart into subatomic threads. Yet as he vanished, he smiled. "You forgot something. Molecules, remember." With a pulse of thought, he reassembled himself from the debris of erased realities. The molecules of every destroyed universe, every erased law, every lost particle, answered his call. He absorbed the remnants of all creation, becoming something beyond even the Beyonder's comprehension. Now Owen was no longer a man. He was the Omniverse's memory, the collective consciousness of every molecule that ever existed. His voice echoed across infinity. "Darkness is just unarranged matter. You're not destruction, you're incomplete." With a single motion, he touched the darkest night's chest. The molecular structure of the god of death began to unravel. Darkness bled into color. Shadows turned to light. Each molecule that composed the darkest night was rewritten into its purest form. Energy, balance, creation. The darkest night screamed as his army of dark Batman dissolved into radiant dust. His laughter became anguish as his body disintegrated molecule by molecule. "No, you can't erase darkness. You need me to define your light." Owen's gaze was calm, almost compassionate. "I don't need you, I define myself." The last molecule of the darkest night flickered, then vanished, converted into pure, balanced energy. The void grew silent. The chaos ceased. Reality began to heal itself, slowly knitting together under Owen's direction. Stars reappeared. Universes reignited. The once shattered walls between realms glowed with renewed stability. Owen floated within the reborn light, his body now transparent, existing in a state of perfect equilibrium. He could feel the presence of countless beings, gods, cosmic entities, even the living tribunal, watching him in awe and fear. He had done what none had ever accomplished, defeated a multiversal god born from infinite corruption, and restored balance to creation. Yet he felt no pride, only understanding. Balance isn't about winning, Owen whispered into the void. It's about remembering what should exist, and letting it exist. He released his power, allowing the Omniverse to breathe again. The molecular harmony spread across every realm, sealing the scars left by the darkest night's invasion. In a distant dimension, the last echo of laughter faded into silence. Owen stood at the edge of creation, gazing into the repaired void. "Even darkness has molecules," he murmured, "and even they can be rewritten." And with that, molecule man vanished, dispersing himself across the Omniverse, every atom of his being now a guardian molecule, ensuring that no shadow, no chaos, and no god of death would ever threaten existence again. The darkest night was gone, the Omniverse lived, and at the heart of all matter, a quiet whisper remained. Creation endures, because the molecules remember.